Okay, so let's get into the expectations and a bit of context to this. Okay, when we talk about artificial intelligence and technology, it's impacting our lives now and it's going to impact going forward. So it's how are we going to be impacted? How is AI going to be used within business and government and healthcare and education to provide the services to others? We are going to be impacted by government agencies and what they do around AI. And then there's already concerns about, are we losing jobs? We've had the Hollywood strike. We hear stories about crime and that sort of thing related to AI. These are all things that we will need to work our way through. Now, governments are going to implement AI into what they do, and then that's going to impact the services that we use from government. So even though I may be a three-man operation, small scale manufacturing, limited use of technology, I am going to be impacted. Small businesses, again, it's mainly through government, the supply chains, financial payments, and aspects of legal are going to impact you. Similarly, for medium business, larger business are going to be a much bigger uptake of AI. They're going to be a much bigger user of it, and they're going to impact their supply chains as well. And then on an individual basis, it's going to impact you things like healthcare, education, and of course, how you interact with government. And one of the big ones on a personal level is safety and protection, whether it's your financial data, whether it's AI to protect you from the different scams that you receive on emails and mobile phones. Now, quantum computing is coming down the pipeline. It's not here yet, but it's coming down through. The universities are researching it. There's various applications coming through with it. And quantum computing is basically, instead of it just being binary ones and zeros, yes and no, it's going to be multiple state. Now, the reason that's important is because cryptography is everything that we use in our lives. So whether it's cryptid Wi-Fi passwords, whether it's TV sets connecting across Wi-Fi, you name it, cryptography is almost ubiquitous in our lives. Now, the experts tell us by 2030, around that date, that the use of quantum computing will make all the existing cryptography redundant. The American government has a mandate to get this done. There's a big transition coming down the pipeline, and there's big opportunities coming down the pipeline. Now, whilst we may not be directly exposed to quantum computing, we all use cryptography. If you look at banks, they're already starting to release standards around cryptography that will not be able to be broken by quantum computing. Those impacts are already starting to come through the pipeline now, even though we don't think the impacts will be there till 2030. So this is just one example of how AI is going to impact us, because whether we use the mobile phones, whether we use the little padlocks on the browsers, we are going to be impacted by AI, and transitions will need to occur and be made. Now, don't worry about it and don't see this in a negative way. All it is just to present that these are the types of things that are coming through the pipeline, which as a business, you may need to consider going forward. Now, with AI, there's the personal use, There's the small organizations that use it, the medium, the large, and the global organizations. Now, there's a thing called machine to machine. So what happens is Google has scanned nearly every book that they have access to on the planet. Not that we're going to read it, but because the machines are going to read it, they're going to interpret it and do things with it. We will consume services that use AI. We will use the machine products and services that come out. There will be our own data. We will have blended data products that we will use, and we'll talk about this a little bit further as we go. We won't get into open loop and closed loop today. Now, basically, AI is going to come at us in a couple of ways. One is the public AI services. So if you've used ChatGPT to write a fun letter to a friend, that's there. Large organizations like banks, the big consulting services, big manufacturing operators like Toyota, they're going to be standing up their own private instances of AI services to use within their business and in servicing customers and clients. Now, one of the ones is there's going to be standalone AI applications, but also AI is going to be embedded within the software that we use. So, for example, if we're using manufacturing software, AI is going to be embedded within that. We're using logistics management software, AI is going to be embedded within that. We may not know that it's embedded in there. We as businesses may need to skill up our staff, but these sort of things are coming. Now, if you're in agriculture, there will be sort of sector specific AI for agriculture. And then, of course, there's going to be various custom applications to use and have access to. What I'll do is I'll skip through a couple more slides, then pause and throw it open for comments and discussion. So we know that it's going to create new jobs. Some existing jobs may lapse. There will be challenges around uplifting in skilling of the workforce. But overall, history tells us that there's an increase in jobs associated with these kinds of transformations. The challenge is how we manage it and how we work it through. AI is going to have massive impacts on government policy. So not only is government policy going to influence the uptake of AI, but everything from defense, regulatory, managing the supplies of food, managing the supply of utilities like gas and electricity. AI is coming through the pipeline and is going to be worked its way through. One of the big challenges and the big opportunities is it's going to require people with higher skill sets to use AI. So then how do we get them skilled up? Where do the teachers come from? Where are the resources coming from for all of this? And this is just part of the mix to work our way through. And of course, there's the impacts on business. Now, we research, we design, we develop, we test, we do operations and services, we consume things, we manage their operations, and we assure the delivery of things. So whether it's a manufacturing assembly line and we're assuring the quality of garments coming off an assembly line, or whether it's banking and financial transactions, we have these different roles that are going to be impacted and use AI in different ways. And one of the big changes that we're already starting to see is what we call the pilot and autopilot model. So at the moment, once an aircraft is taken off, a lot of the flying of the aircraft is done automatically, and the pilots and the co-pilot aren't actively flying the plane. It's all the computers and the technology that's flying the plane. The AI is embedded within that. What the pilot does is they create these things for the first time. They intervene when things go wrong. They assure that things are working, and they manage stakeholders. And if you look at it even now within financial services, with mortgage processing and approvals, with insurance processing and approvals, we're starting to see this model becoming more prolific within the workplace. One more slide and then we'll pause. We've talked about how AI is standalone and it becomes embedded. We've talked about the pilot and the autopilot model. One of the biggest issues around AI is access to the underlying data for the models to work and for the algorithms to work and make the predictions. So we've heard the news stories that you feed it the bar exam for lawyers, AI processes it all, spits out exam results, and you as a student, you can pass the bar exam. That assumes access to good data, good quality data, and that good information is being fed in. If you feed in a series of fake answers to the bar exam, then AI will tend to deliver fake answers. AI doesn't know if the answers are correct or not. AI doesn't know the morals and the ethics of what is being created. All of that is way, way over the future. And so our routine operations are going to change. Our supporting services are going to change. The industry specific aspects are going to change. And we're going to need to manage the risk around how we use AI. We take it up and do it. You've already seen the stories that proprietary code has been copied and pasted into public source AI. That new code has been generated and it's been put straight into production without any quality assurance and cause control. The takeout message is AI will get implemented in a manageable, sustainable way. Yes, they'll make mistakes, will do silly things, but a lot of the problems that we are already facing now with AI, even as primitive as it is compared to 5 or 10 years' time, are not the failures in technology. They're the failures in operations, processes, skilling, and everything else.